Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you all enjoyed yesterday's amazing lectures. And today I'm going to give you a different but local perspective of applied semiotics. And as you may know, this subject is not as thriving in China as it is in Europe or the US, but China is developing quite fast in every aspect, as well as this subject. So today we have the third Semiofest here in China. As a very important component of our culture, I think Chinese women, they are the representative of our evolving culture, and in return, they influence it a lot. So as a modern Chinese woman who practices semiotics, I'd like to share with you the emerging ways to connect with Chinese women. Basically, Sorry. Okay. Basically, my talk is composed of two parts: the emerging communication codes targeting women and the relevant cultural context. So let's start with the cultural context. So my first one I called increasing sense of humor. So you may not know, but Chinese women, they used to live a very pathetic life in the past. They were forbidden to do many things, including laugh. So because that was defined as satire. So in one word, they were suppressed in every aspect. And that happened both in ancient times and communist time. You can see from the images, these are Asian Chinese women. They are from the royal family. All of them are supposed to be serious all the time. And the communist women, they should devote all their life into the revolutionary cause. So none of them have the time or right to be happy or enjoy their life. So therefore, so they need to relax and release their repression accumulated for thousands of years. And besides, many contemporary Chinese women, most of them are living and working in the city. So the hectic business lifestyle creates the need to release their pressure. So humor became a good way to express their optimistic attitude. So here we have this called humoristic tone. So this signifies, we can see there are many funny facial expressions. They are proud or spoiled or surprised. And there are many use of animated representation and dialogue boxes we can see in the comic books. As for the language, they use parody and puns, so they are playing with it in every aspect. So this communicates the relaxation, lightheartedness, optimism, the intimacy, or the escape. So they are using humor as a way of escaping of their busy urban life. And the next. So as you may have concluded from the previous context that everything related to sex or sensual enjoyment is a taboo for Chinese women, and that is true. Before, women, they depended entirely on men, both economically and mentally. So they have very little idea of their own body or how to enjoy it. Sorry. Yes. But it's totally different now, because today they have more self-awareness of themselves, because they have increasing financial capability and spare time. More time, more money, and more space to think about themselves. So, and besides, since 1980s, China had a very huge sex liberation influenced by Western pop culture. Women start to see their body and sexuality from a very different but more open light. So So from very implicit to direct, we now have a much richer sex culture, which can be reflected from many works depicting sex. Here you can see, we can see here this very hit movie, Last Caution. It was like 4 or 6 years ago, and people all enjoy it. And today, now, Chinese women start to keep pace with Europe. Chinese women, they start reading 50 Shades of Grey, and we really enjoy it. So, at the same time, masculine perceptions towards femininity are getting diverse. Before, being sexy was defined as bad or fallen, something we should definitely stay away from. But today, the tolerance and appreciation towards sexuality become prevalent. Both men and women have learned to celebrate it. So this allows the code seductive moments to exist. So many brands are doing to make intimate connection with women. So you can see that they are wearing dark red, black, and brown coloring dress, and they're looking at the camera in a very sultry and seductive pose. But it's not like this prostitute kind of seduction. It's not only to please men. They are doing the seduction to please both themselves and the man. So when using very inviting tone of voice to make this atmosphere. So it's very indulgent. It's communicating indulgence, naughtiness, drawing attention of the audience on themselves, and also it's a kind of female empowerment. We all know that China is a very populous country, and our one-child policy is very famous. So that not only helps reduce popularity, but also has good impact on women. So on one hand, mothers are liberated from lifelong childbearing because they are allowed to give birth to only one kid. So they have more time to pursue their career and personal life. And on the other hand, women, as the only children in their family, they acquire more responsibility for their parents. So it's a very common situation that in the city, a couple, they raises one kid but supports 4 old men. So, especially women, so they have to work hard to fulfill their responsibility for their family. But even though we have implemented this policy for decades, we still has the largest population in the world. So this year was extremely fierce competition in China, especially in school and job workplace. So also, as a country dominated by men for thousands of years, even now men has much better opportunities than women. So we have to make more efforts than men to get what we want. So it's very reasonable for us to see our workplace as a battlefield. So this creates our urban warrior. So in the communication, we can see that those women are very strong. They are foregrounded and disproportionately larger than the city, and all of them have tall legs. They are using the downward up angles, so seeing them from below, like they are the authority or someone in power. They're using a shrill tone of voice or language like "I lead my way and the city is mine." It's very powerful and strong. So it communicates the woman mastery, their confidence and enablement. So after this code, you may think that most Chinese women were very tough and aggressive, but don't forget we have our tradition of femininity. So the contemporary Chinese idea of femininity started in 1920s when for the first time China opened to the whole world. So back then, women they formed the traditional dress of that time, wear it to show their body line. So even though this kind of femininity was broken during the communist time for decades, and now it's continuing and evolving. So, and on the other hand, and after all, we are women, we have our nature of being a woman and showing our femininity. Because Chinese women, most of the time, they have to be tough on the outside, so their inner softness as a counterbalance of their femininity. Because we are Chinese, we all believe in the yin and yang theory. We don't think that women can be always tough. It's unbalanced. We need to balance our characters, so that creates a balanced life. So it's in a very conceptual way, but it's true. So the relevant code here is very soft. It's called feminine rhythm. So we can see here the wearing very floating clothing. They are doing feminine, elegant postures, and their movements are texturous. The theme of the color very soft, and we are all using this calm tone of voice. It's slowly enjoy your life and your woman, stuff like that. So it's another expression of their freedom, elegance. Oh, sorry. Sensuality and your inner tranquility. So this code is, we can see this as a counterbalance of women's counterbalance and completion of women's of our femininity. And but the next code I'm going to talk about is kind of another reaction towards the tough side. So they compete and fight all the day on the outside, playing the role of strong women, but deep down, I believe they want to go back to their happy and carefree childhood, when they can do whatever they want and not worrying about anything. So furthermore, this generation of Chinese women, they grew up in the exposure of Western culture, so they are very familiar with Grimm's fairy tales or Disney movies. So our bedtime stories are no longer the Chinese traditional myth or legends. It's Snow White or Alice in Wonderland. So we may want to imagine an ideal place of their childhood. It's natural for them to use those Western fairy tales as their material and imagination, material and inspiration. And at the same time, most of this generation Chinese women will get higher education, and we are highly intellectual. So we are able to comprehend and even create our own metaphorical content. So we have this called severe escape. So they are using these vivid colors like purple, yellow, white, and also the unnatural depictions or combinations of visual elements or fantasy or dreamlike environments. We are seeing here this teddy bear, even larger than a human, but it's cute. It's not aggressive or going to attack humans. And it's building on the woman's head and going across seasons from autumn to winter directly. None of them actually happens in real life, but it creates an atmosphere of fairy tales, surreal places, a place for us to escape and really rest. So next. So here I want to say that there was a time when Chinese we saw our traditional culture in a very negative way. We criticized everything, and we believe that our traditional culture hindered our development, and the only advance we see is Western civilization. Because back then we are very weak, we are poor, but now we have been developing for years, and we are improving our global international status. We're keeping improving our international status. So this creates a very huge national pride to the people. So we remember that we used to be a strong country. We should be proud of our traditions. And then we start to show it on the international stage. Here, this famous Chinese movie actress Fan Bingbing, she's wearing this rose inspired by Chinese imperial robe and Asian painting on the case red carpet. So Chinese think it's a very good demonstration of Chineseness to the world. So because before we were wearing those Western design things, but now we start to wearing our own designs. And also the very popular global retro trend is also followed by China. The whole world is looking back to the past with admiration. So how can we miss this fashion? Because we have a culture for thousands of years, so we cannot only retrospect the culture of decades ago, like 1920s, 1930s, but we can also look back further to ancient times. So this endows a Chinese retro with great local relevance and heightened significance. So. The relevant code of this context is the representation of the past. So first we can see that we are using traditional icons mixed with contemporary elements here. It's using a Chinese modern woman and the Chinese tradition calligraphy to form the Chinese character of beauty together. And here we use the icon of very traditional icons, the horse, the tower, but on a very modern designed bottle. And another signifier is the traditional elements in contemporary animated style. Here we can see this is a very unique traditional pattern in Chinese culture. It's called lucky clouds. And here they are all in animated style with this even animated Chinese figure. So all these are in this virtual aesthetic kind of style. So this is, as I said in the context, it's the continuation of our tradition, and it's looking at the past, but in a brand new contemporary way. And it's also a representation of our nostalgia and our national pride. Here. So for now, I think we've known a lot about contemporary Chinese women, and now let's go deeper and find what's going on the inner part. And this is our last code today as well. So Chinese women, they depended on men before, you know that, and they're living to please them because that's the only way to survive. So it's and of course they let men to define and decide what's the best for women because they don't have any right of speaking. And as a matter of course, they even saw themselves from a male perspective that appearance for men is everything. If you have a pretty face, that's enough. You don't need more. But that's before. And now with the female empowerment is getting stronger and stronger, they start to have their own voice and attitude, and most importantly, they now see themselves from the female perspective. They think that inner quality is much more important than outer appearance because they live for themselves, not for men. And with their other external needs like family, career, and life satisfied, it's very natural for them to have more personal pursuit, like they need the certainty of themselves, and they want to live with wisdom and vision. and even more, they want to have a very meaningful life. So we have this new idea. So today, the Chinese women, our new idea is no longer pretty face or superficial fancy life. We have this successful women as our role models. They don't have to be very beautiful, but they are very professional, strong, and capable. So they are talking about lessons from lives, wisdom, and personal achievements, not about makeup or pretty dress, stuff like that. So we can see from the images here, they're using the predominance of black and white, not those fluffy, colorful, feminine, old feminine style, and they're using a very testimonial and documentary style with authority and with authority of themselves. So this is, I think this is quite emergent because it communicates our self-fulfillment, our personal success, and even our forward thinking and our open-mindedness to the world. So that's the codes. Because I think Chinese women, because they are unprecedentedly dynamic and inspiring, so I think the successful connection between brands and Chinese women, it can help brands to get in front of the market and get great achievements. Thank you.